trade with an 80% success rate? Hi, it's Charlie giving you this week's midweek video. What's happened is we put an email out to our database on the website. People who, if I can find it on the website here, you can get our free weekly newsletter here on the website. And so we put an email out just asking what's holding you back in your trading type email. Just so, and we welcomed questions and or welcomed answers and to that question. And so in today's video, I'm going to go through just some of those. I'll bring up the Word document that Sam sent across to me. And so these are some of the responses that we had. This one, the first one, win rate isn't high enough. For example, I'm reading breakouts in my mind. I'm winning 80% of the time. These are people's typing. This is not Sam's typing. It's just what people are writing in. But in reality, I might only be winning 20% of the time. So in answer to that question, well, the first thing is, why do you want to be right 80% of the time? I know that sounds like, why wouldn't you want to be right 80% of the time? But in reality, it's quite difficult to be in the markets to have an 80% success rate. So what you actually need to do is scrap that and change your mindset towards thinking about being right 80% of the time. What you've got to do is have a mindset towards creating a profitable approach to the markets, rather than having a mindset which is geared towards trying to be right a given percentage of the time, if you see what I mean. So change your overall view of what you're trying to do. So as far as breakouts are concerned, part of the reason that if this person's only right, let's say 20% of the time, then again have a look at the breakouts. There's nothing wrong with trading breakouts, but where are you placing your stop? Is your stop loss in a place which is getting stopped only for price to go higher again, sort of thing? So you need to look at a number of factors before just completely ditching breakouts, because there's plenty of traders who do buy breakouts, but with a lot of breakouts, they do false breakouts as well. So that's a natural thing that goes on there. So you may have to completely change your approach, but I wouldn't say immediately to do that. I would just have a look at it all first of all. If you're trying to be right a lot of the time people's approach is wrong. There's nothing overly wrong with buying breakouts or selling breakdowns. It's just maybe where their stop losses are, or however their approach is. Here's another one. Charlie, do you have any advice on commitment, discipline, and self-sabotage? Oh my word. I mean, again, that's a very open question there. Commitment, discipline, and self-sabotage. Commitment, well, you've got to have commitment to trading. If you don't have commitment to trading, you might as well quit. But so let's cover off discipline and self-sabotage. Again, it's very open. I don't know in what context, but it sounds like there's a lack of discipline and self-sabotage going on. So sometimes when you've got a lack of discipline, it comes down to the character of the individual. So it could be something to do with you and your personality type, for example, which is why you find it harder to have discipline. But you have to trust me that lots of traders have issues with discipline, and they do overcome that. So as usual, or one thing is to have a structure to your trading. So someone like that really needs to have a structure to their trading. If you just start trying to trade anything and any move that's going on in the markets, you've got no structure. So you need to have some strategies. I have strategies like most people have strategies. So have some strategies. Strategies will give you a structure. You don't need to have lots, just 2 or 3. It's all I use, really. 2 or 3 strategies in the main. And they're enough. They give me a framework and some rules to go about when I am placing trades, to know, right, yes, this is where I'll place my stop, and this is how this is all looking like it will play out. So structure is a big something that's going to really help with a lack of discipline. Self-sabotage, again, when it comes to self-sabotage, this is the sort of stuff that could come back to having to see a psychologist, because self-sabotage, if you keep doing that and you're well aware of it but you keep doing it, then there could be some deeper things at play, which is why you keep self-sabotaging. So sometimes it might just be a good idea to see a therapist and on something like that. So that's not probably, again, it's not easy because this is such an open question, but again, self-sabotage should be something you should be able to get on top of. Mindset, I always say, mindset is everything. You have to be spending your time on your mindset all of the time. It's not something that you just say, oh yes, I did some mindset stuff, Charlie, and I understand what fear is and greed is. Oh, so I understand mindset. It's something that you have to constantly go through because there's so many aspects of trader mindset, including self-sabotage. So revenge trading, over trading, over leveraging, all of those sorts of things which can result in self-sabotage. So we need to put some arresting mechanisms in. So how do we put arresting mechanisms in? Language, self-talk. There's all of these things that I use with my traders that can really help with that sort of thing. So arresting mechanisms to stop you when you're about to do it. So one arresting mechanism, and you have to, again, it takes time to create a new habit here, but this self-talk and say, actually, I can't afford to take this trade right now. What if I'm wrong? But what if I'm wrong? Just like a mentor would, if they were sat next to you and you're about to take that self-sabotaging trade, they'd say, well, hold on a second. What if you're wrong about this? You would have them there sat next to you talking like that. Unfortunately, you don't, so you have to use self-talk and talk to yourself a lot. But you can create a whole raft of questions to be asking yourself to help with things like discipline and self-sabotage. But sometimes, self-sabotage, again, you might need to see a therapist because there might be other things going on in your life or in your psyche, but there's a couple of things to mention here. Now, I've already realized I'm 7.5 minutes into this, so there's no chance of me getting to go through all of these. There's a load in this email, but bit by bit, as the weeks go by, I will endeavor to answer as many of these questions, and if I can't answer them all on the videos, I will give the answers to Sam, and Sam can email the people back. What's this one? How to spot a trading opportunity in the market when you pull the trigger or get into the trade. Second, what? How to spot the trading opportunity in the market, and when to pull the trigger. Again, such an open question. It's basically saying, how do I trade? Unfortunately, that is such a wide-ranging question. It's like someone coming up to me saying, hi, Charlie, how do I trade? And I'd be like, whoa, how do I go and trade the market? I can't possibly answer that in a short YouTube video. You just can't do that. So I don't even know where to start, because you need to come up with strategies, some form of method, approach to the market in order to be able to know when to pull the trigger. So yes, you need to spend some time in front of the markets looking, and I don't like saying this, but looking for strategies. But you need to start to read the market and read patterns, so that you can actually say, okay, I've got some patterns, some rules, and which is essentially some strategies, which I can then utilize for knowing when to pull the trigger. But again, that's what you need to do. So I'm not, I'm sure you're aware of that, but I don't know what else to say in that. It's otherwise I'd have to put 8 hours together of training material for you, because can't do that. Second one is discipline with trading time. Again, such an open question. I don't know what this person means. Are they a day trader? Are they talking about discipline with I don't know, with the hours that they have available during the day? I don't know. So unfortunately, let's move on to another one, because unfortunately that's not an easy one, because I can't quite understand that one. Let's have a look at this one. First of all, I'm extremely glad to have made contact with you. A few years ago, I followed many traders on YouTube, but singled you out. Oh, God, I singled me out. Oh, no, he's attacking me. As someone who is the most realistic and objective. Many promise annual profits of more than 100%, but I'm aware that this is unrealistic. While in your videos, you talk about much smaller percentages, which is honest. I've been trading for a little over a year now, and of course, I'm at a loss. Trading is quite demanding and requires a lot of time and energy, a lot of knowledge, but it is also very interesting. Good, that's what we want to hear, people passionate about it. So far, I can only boast that I've managed to reduce a lot of losses to smaller number of losses, but I'm still not profitable. Now that's interesting. That would suggest that this person has lost money, but has turned a corner. So that might be a positive there. So yes, they might not have got back up to the previous highs of their equity, but they may well have turned the corner, if I'm reading that right, because it's sort of saying that they've reduced the losses. So that suggests to me that maybe they're doing something right now. It seems that a lot of time is still needed, as well as knowledge and timely information. Your question: what is the number one thing you feel is holding you back from becoming a consistently profitable trader? I hate that line, consistently profitable trader, but I'm talking about in the larger sense when I'm talking there. Consistently profitable is, I cringe at that myself, because it sounds like, oh yeah, you make money every day. Consistent, this word consistent, I don't like, because the markets are so inconsistent, they're always moving around. But in general terms, when we're talking about consistently profitable, we're talking about like on an annualized basis or whatever. And within that, you're going to have winning months, losing months, and all that. Seems very difficult to me. Just where to start. As in every trade so far, just as I become profitable, some bad wave of trades hit and brings me back to loss. It's just hard. It's just hard to single one important thing. But if I have to, it's how to read human psychology looking at the chart, and possibly how to recognize the right moment when it exits the trade, if it becomes unprofitable or if it threatens to make an even larger loss. Many times I exited the trade late. Okay, that looks like okay. There's a lot here. But to finish off on this part, this person's understanding that it's there's an element of mindset there, but he's saying it's very simple or hard to put it into one thing. But he's saying how to read the human psychology, looking at a chart. Okay, yep, we do that a lot, but possibly how to recognize at the right moment when it exits the trade. I don't quite understand the language there. If it becomes unprofitable or if it threatens to make an even bigger loss. What do you mean an even bigger loss? You've got to have a stop loss. So, and he's saying, or he or she is saying that many times they've exited a trade late. So there's nothing wrong with exiting a trade late. There's nothing wrong with being in a trade which is profitable, which runs back against you. That happens to me all of the time. Just go back and look at some of my videos I've done. I think I did a video not that long ago on the channel where I think it was titled winning at trading from losing. So go and have a look at that, because you'll see all of those trades that I took last year in 2022 and the amount of losers I have. So and I get into plenty of trades which are in nice profits and just roll over. So sometimes people think that's a bad thing, and it may not be. Again, go back over those trades. Make sure you record your trades. Put them into a trading journal, because if you don't log, then you can't go back and review. Because go back and review all of those times when that happens and see, well, what happened afterwards? And what about the ones that did go on to hit your target? Would that make up for the ones that end up coming back down and stopping you out? So I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, just because you've been in a profitable trade and then it rolls back over. I was sat with one of my brokers today, and I was having a conversation on a Zoom call today, and he was saying one of the biggest one. Oh, there was many issues that their clients tend to have, but one of the biggest issues that they have is that they hate seeing a profit turning into a loss. I think it's probably one of the hardest things that a trader can see is being in a profitable trade and it rolls over and turns into a loss. So, but do you want to be a profitable trader, or do you want to be like all the other traders out there? So, in order to be a profitable trader, it may well be that you have to have several trades like that, but then you will get those ones that do end up getting up to your target, and they'll pay for the losers. So I wouldn't see that as a negative. I think you need to spend a bit more time on that. And talking of time, I'm now out of time. It's a long video here, and so I will endeavour week by week to pick on a few of these messages. Look, there's a load more in here, and I will go through these as the weeks go by. And there's more on a separate email from Sam as well. So I will try and work my way through these. Very kind of you, those of you who have responded, and we'll carry on working on these on this channel.